really pause and consider who you are. And I'm going to slow down speech a bit and really think with your eyes closed. See yourself, the representation of yourself in space. Your surroundings could be forest, hills, whiteness, the room you're in. And now imagine you no longer have a hand. You're still you. Imagine you no longer have a body, except maybe a interface for your brain to perceive the world. You're still you. Now, what if part of your brain was damaged? Would you be you, or would that change you? Well, just like you might be changed because your experience would differ if you lost a hand, if you lost a certain cognitive function, you would still be there, you would just be shifted. So say you learn a new skill, and we've all done this. Say you go from not knowing how to read to being able to read. All of a sudden, your experience has expanded. There is a you before you learn how to read and after. So as you contemplate this and link it with the idea that you are essence, you are soul, you are mind, you are non-physical, interacting with the world through the physical, through your healthy brain, through your physical body, you're able to experience more. So with your eyes closed, I offer to you to focus just on the center of your head and feel, what does your head feel like? Not physically, not do you have a headache or does your head feel numb or anything like that, but what does it feel like inside? And you might not have a lot of awareness of that, but what does it feel like possibly in your chest? What does it feel like in your lower abdomen? What does the inside of your body feel like? And as you can sense that somewhere, maybe where you're holding tension, clenching your belly, clenching your face, feeling hunched, feeling relaxed. Now take that body awareness and move it into the center of your head, even deeper. And I'd offer to you just to sense the core of your brain and energetically, psychically relax and allow whatever images want to rise up, to rise. And as you breathe more slowly and deeply, taking off the filter of thought and judgment, they can come back later. Ask a question to your pineal gland. How are you? Now, when I ask that, I hear the words immediately, I'm fine. I don't try to change them. I don't try to make an overlay. I don't try to overrule or second guess or argue. And if you have been able to relax yourself, still with your eyes closed, breathing slowly and deeply, what answer did you hear? Maybe, I'm not fine. I need help. I'm hungry. I really, really want to experience this world more. So whatever the answer is, now, with that same open filter, not judging, not thinking, ask, how can I serve you? How can we walk in harmony together? And just be open. You might get an image, you might get words. And what mine just shared is, I want you to take me outside more. You might have different things, like I'm picking up the vibration. Some people might want to go and create art. Some people might be hearing a voice to make music, to have more physical experiences, to change diet. So as you go deep within, with your eyes closed, breathing slowly and deeply through your belly, imagine a place where you're seated and there's a being across from you also seated. As you're in this space, you're sitting in a chair. What is it like to be with another version of you? What is it like to be sitting there with a being that is speaking through you and for you? who's there representing part of yourself. And just note, does this being take a form? Is their form an animal? Is their form like you? Is their form solid or not solid? And as you pause and notice whether or not there is form, I offer to you to allow yourself to just be okay and be excited with the fact that you're now accessing part of your deeper self. And envision this form pulsing and breathing, and I'd offer to you to breathe with it. So we're just going to take a short pause of silence for you to get in harmony. And as you're breathing deeply in the harmony with your pineal gland, I would offer to you to extend gratitude, whatever that means for you. And now as you're coming back and in this world that you're in, this world of your inner mind, do you notice that the being that you're with, the consciousness, the energy that you're with, the intention feels good? That's all. And what I'm picking up for most of us is that it feels good and feels happy to be there, to be acknowledged. Now, just for a second, for fun, offer and ask it, show me yourself in all your glory. Don't hold back. And in my space, there is an opening. There is a wide burst of color, of shapes and forms. I have pink triangles and blue circles. I have leopards and elephants with wings. I have waterfalls spinning in circles and whirling. And I have the faces of every man, woman, and child, living or dead, real or fictional, zooming by. I see holographic lights, the northern lights, projectors of twinkling stars, vacuums of void, and pieces of floating cheese. Every image that you can imagine is here, deep inside this realm, deep inside this space. And with your eyes closed, deep, focused in this space, in this astral dimension, the level of your creation, see what it wants to show you. And in front of you, imagine a portal opening, a large oval expanding with light in the center. And as I offer visual cues, go with your truth. Allow them to transform, or let me guide you. We all have different levels of ability, and all those abilities are increasing in this moment and will be greatly increased through the end of this workshop and after. So as you look into this portal, with that consciousness, the pineal gland projecting and creating this visual playland, this reality around you, see and feel what is there, what exists. Possibly see a field of grass through this portal, possibly see the portal coming closer to you if you have not yet walked closer to it. And as you pass the threshold and it encompasses you, it closes, and now you are in an entire hologram created by your pineal gland, by you. You see the sky with blue and shifts of purple waving through it in large sections of color. You see birds of fire of blue and orange and green and pink, every hue imaginable. From the ground erupts a geyser of silver droplets, and the silver showers up into the sky and down upon you. And as you hold up your hand in this place, in your arm, it may be yours or it may be the paws of a lion. It may be white or brown or tan. It may be purple or transparent. And you see the silver like mercury over your hand. And as you focus on your index finger and your hand as a whole, you see in that hand the eye of Horus, that image with which you've recently become so familiar. And you stare at that, at the center of that eye, and you can do this in physical space. Hold your hand up, also in this dimension, in front of your eyes, yet slightly above them, and allow your physical eyes to focus in and up. And as you're focusing in this space, behind your eyebrows, and simultaneously viewing the eye of Horus on your hand, you realize that you can see in two places at once. You can switch very quickly between your hand inside your brain and greater awareness of the surrounding hologram. And with your eyes closed, seeing the large hologram, the large forest, seeing your hand, seeing your inner eye, stepping back, seeing yourself in the physical world, you realize that in addition to seeing in more than one space at a time, you exist in more than one space at a time. And just contemplate this. You have a body of physical form, and you have a body imagined. And if you take a step even further backwards, astrally, dimensionally, you will see that you, who are the observer, is something else than just the one in the chair and the one visualizing. So just as you have multiple bodies, you have a variation of depth. The most superficial experience is your body in the room. The next level deeper is your imagination, or the transmission of you in what we can call the astral for now, space, where you have a hand and it's your imagination, but the form is more solid. And now we have an awareness of you, the observer, independent of these two planes. What does that mean? And let's take these two planes as screens. And just as you have a computer and you're swiping through windows, one for your browser, one for your notes, one for a music player perhaps, you see the window of you in the physical space. You see the window of you in the astral space with the forest. And what do you see as an observer? Is it a third window, or a window encompassing them all? What about the planet, to add a dimension of physicality? So you see now, we're getting more dimensions of space, more dimensions of awareness. Is there something observing you? Could you be a cell in the body of a greater being? Just like the microbes of our intestines have their own awareness and they're part of a greater collective. So you see here, the depth is not just your body, your mind, your awareness, the collective. The depth continues to infinity. And as you realize this, you're able to perceive infinity. If you imagine for a second the planet Venus or the planet Mars, and you envision its surface, you envision it from far away, and you zoom in and envision it up close, just breathe in the taste of its atmosphere. And exhale the temperature. Is it hot or cold, stale or arid? And as you notice your choice of Venus or Mars, maybe you jump between both, you realize that your awareness can travel to infinity. My friend, you just traveled faster than light in awareness. And even if your perception of your planet is not perfect or complete, it is still somewhere on the continuum. Now I offer for us to be all together to envision Mars and a crater of Mars. And let's just take 3 slow, deep breaths as we allow the screen of the forest and the screen of the physical room with your eyes closed and the screen of your awareness to be off to the side and the primary screen of Mars to come up. So with 3 deep breaths and some silence, explore for yourself the surface of Mars. And what do you notice? Do you notice light or darkness? Do you notice as you look down pebbles that you can kick? Do you notice off in the distance one mountain or two? Can you make it two with your thought and holding each hand out, corresponding with your thought and movement? Can you lower the mountains of Mars into the ground? Do you realize you are not just viewing something, but exercising your power of creation? Is this the whole physical of Mars? Is this an imagined Mars? Or is this a collective? With your eyes closed, continue to play with the landscape. Raise one hand and raise up high a pillar of blue. Extend your other hand and turn it from downward to upward, and close your palm and open it. And with the opening, floods, birds of light, shining rays of yellow, orange, pink, blue, green, turquoise, every hue you could imagine onto this pillar that you have raised. And do you see now? Your power to affect your creation, your imagination is infinite. And if you now extend both hands together and spread your palms wide, a door in the base of the pillar opens. And as you think it and will it, you get so much closer to that pillar, it gets closer to you, and you are now in front of that doorway. You have moved very quickly, telekinetically or through teleportation, to this doorway into the core of Mars. And as you look deep into the vast blackness, from somewhere a faint blue illumination, a soft glow, and you see a deep, deep cavern. And deep inside this cavern, you look and you wonder if you should jump. And you gently, with safety and all the support of the universe and archangels watching, jump in. And the moment, with faith and trust, you have jumped off that cliff, you realize you can fly. And you are in the clouds of this world within a world. And you soar down, and around the sky, you see clouds and birds and other flying beings. And more colors arise, and you wave hello. And you're just getting the hang of it, but you can control. You can fly as you glide down left and glide down right. You can notice an updraft of red current and go forward and catch it and rise even higher with the clouds and the other beings as your reference point. And to the buildings very far below, you can start to descend, realizing that you can control moving left, moving right, and with a few breaths of silence, explore this power to fly. Do you fly alone or with others? Are you flying down or up? Is the city getting closer or farther, or have you already landed? And as you look, descending, you choose a building off in the distance, a skyscraper with the eye of Horus raised far into the air. And you allow yourself to descend on top of this skyscraper and allow your wings to dematerialize. And as you look, you see a garden on top of this skyscraper. You see some fauns and centaurs passing hors d'oeuvres to beings in suits with the head of fish. You see elegant women of skin colors, of yellow and pearl, of moonlight and pink, of soft jade and soft purple. You see ears that are curved and ears that are pointed. And you see an astral party, and you are a guest. And whether they all look at you and smile because you are now the guest of honor, or they acknowledge you in the way that feels most right, or don't acknowledge you if that feels safer and better, you realize you can move among them. And with your eyes closed, you can move as fast as you wish or as slow. and this astral party on the rooftop of Mars, with the garden forest and an elephant drinking a margarita, and a centaur shooting a bow and arrow on top of an apple sitting on Harry Potter's head, with Hermione Granger's wand out, making sure he's safe with the Protego charm. And in the corner, sitting in a chair, you see Doctor Strange. And over at the bar, talking with glitter on her face and makeup for her next movie, A Wrinkle in Time, you see Oprah. As you look up, you see a glass floor that has somehow arose. And you see through that floor that is also a ceiling, your mentors, your friends, those who you invite. This astral party contains all beings of all consciousnesses. You go over to Oprah and eavesdrop on her conversation. The being she's talking with is a being of light, human in shape and glowing, but with no distinct facial features. Her chin is on her hand, and she's listening intently. This being doesn't speak with mouth. This being speaks with vibration. And as this being speaks, you see the vibration of pink and blue and yellow going into Oprah through her forehead, touching her third eye, because the vortex of purple that is her sixth chakra is open and healthy, drawing in that energy to her pineal gland deep in her brain that is processing the light just as much as when you look over to the right and you see Elon Musk looking at a machine, the light bouncing from that machine into his eyes allows him to perceive. And you look over at Oprah on this rooftop of this astral party with your eyes closed physically, and you notice that her third eye is functioning with this energy just as the eyes of Elon Musk are functioning with physical light. This is a third eye, you realize, completely through and through. And as you pull back from this vision briefly, and you see a computer screen with your eyes closed physically, but you see the screen with Mars and the portal and the party, you see the screen in your haven with your forest glade and your arm. You see yourself in the physical room and you're aware of yourself as an awareness watching it all. And now let's dive back in and go think of Mars and the pillar you raised and flying in the sky and the rooftop and Oprah and Elon. And now they're side by side. Elon is looking off to the right at the machine. Oprah is talking to the left of a being of light. And you're stepping back, watching the light go into all of their eyes. And with Elon, you're seeing light enter not just his physical eyes, but his third eye. And you're seeing from both of them a stream of light, a sparkle of hues of infinite glitter colors, purple, red, turquoise, yellow, blue, everything streaming up and down, coming down from above and coming up from below into the pineal glands of both Oprah on the left and Elon on the right, the divine feminine and the masculine. And you see that those are individuals holding space for a representation of all. And we see the light coming in into the pineal gland, which is also the center of a galaxy for Oprah and Elon. And as you step back, you see spinning galaxies in the center of each brain. Elon is blue, Oprah is a soft, gentle red. And you see these spinning galaxies with this information, this light coming in. And you also see these galaxies projecting light. What does this mean? And the words sixth chakra come up. And what does that mean? And you see the light coming from these galaxies, the stars that are leaving and the stars that are coming. And you see the light that goes out from the pineal gland. You see it form as stardust, collected, and you are one with the light, and you are surrounded with these particles of light, and in each one you see a holographic representation of a girl running through a field, of a spaceship flying through space, of open surgery on somebody's abdomen, of an elephant running through the forest. Each of these particles of light is a universe unto itself, and you see them flow, and with them you are flowing up and into the heart of the being across from Oprah, that being of light. And you feel in your heart a warmth, an opening. And now you shift into that space, and you are that which she is creating. You are that being of light. And as you look Oprah in the eyes, and look at your own body and see glowing, pulsing light. This is interesting. You are that which is created, and now your consciousness drops as quickly as it can into your own core, and you see and feel the light that is your core receiving and giving, and you see yourself giving specks of light that are universes, and you see yourself receiving these too. What are you? You are the awareness, just like before. And you are also in bodies and able to enter and exit bodies. This is, at the most basic form, out of body experience. Now, if you go back into this body of light safely, you look at the arm, and now there is a heat lamp shining bright heat onto your arm. You can see it. Do you feel warmth in your arm? If you don't, that's okay. That's something with the nervous system. But I feel warmth on my arm. And my left arm, I see next to it a bucket of snow. And with my eyes closed, I plunge my left arm into a bucket of snow. What does this feel like? Does it feel cold? Do you have goosebumps or tingles? Your right hand now goes into cooling lava, giving off steam, and your left is plunged into ice. Shift your awareness between the two, fully in your right with lava. Your body is strong and durable, but you see it start to glow red hot, and that heat travel up your arm. Breathe. This is awareness. There is no need to clench if you are clenching from the heat or the cold, if your physical body is having a visceral reaction to your astral form. My friend, you have already been astral projecting, and you have already been in an out-of-body experience. That's how easy this is. And just as early on you were guided to walk and talk, so too now have you been guided to project. And eventually, should you choose, you will build the skill sets to do more. Now let's step back from what we have visualized and take a few deep breaths, going back into any scene from the last 15 minutes or so, and shift back into the reality you wish to experience, and see it not just with your eyes, but with your hands in astral form. Just think of that doorway to that pillar on Mars, and just go through that doorway and Power Ranger teleport, speed down, apparate, fly on a broomstick, hang glide, angel wing flap, whatever you want to do, land on that rooftop, and you're back in that party. And just think about all the beings who are there. And you're here for a reason. And your reason is you want to meet your freaking spirit guide. And as you realize that, everybody looks at you and says, how can I help? But you might have one. Who can serve me the most? Who can help me the most? And Oprah looks over and stands up. And maybe Oprah changes form and becomes the form of another, because bodies mean less in this place. And so the being who has stood up, whatever they look like, whatever their height, whatever their color or colors, whether they are one form and one guise or a different guise, you realize this is as simple as drinking water. Spirit guides are accessible. You don't have to do a lot of work or have somebody declare you worthy. A spirit guide is right here, one of many. And as the guide approaches you and you start walking forward, you smile and the two of you embrace. And you close your eyes and lean them on their shoulder and smile. And they do the same, and you can feel them smiling. And you can just relax. They've got you. You're held. And for however long you want to stay here, you realize that you can communicate telepathically. So very clearly, mentally, and if you choose with your physical body, you can do this as well. Ask the question. Whatever you most wish to know. And the first thing that comes to your mind in the voice of that being is likely the answer. Not all the stuff that comes after it. And you'll know if you can hear them clearly if there's stillness. Any voice that has emotion, any voice that is unenlightened, is a voice of thought, is possibly the voice of something else which doesn't really matter at this moment. But the voice of utmost stillness and consistency, that voice of infinite willingness to explain why, is the voice of your spirit guide. And as you pull apart from the embrace and look at this being, maybe ask them to repeat what they said, and they say it in the same words because they care about and love you. Now maybe ask another question. Could be meaningful, could be less meaningful, and allow the reply. It's instant, isn't it? Maybe ask them why you're here. Maybe they reply to this one or not. Maybe they ask, what do you mean? Which here, which you? But you are actually talking with your spirit guide right now. You are actually getting incredibly useful answers for deep, deep questions. And I ask you to calibrate your level of trust. How much can you trust this information? 50%? 100%? What would enable you to trust it more? What would enable you to trust this voice, which we can call intuition, and allow it to grow stronger? What can enable us to hear you more clearly, O Spirit Guide, and know the difference between you and thought, know the difference between you and imagination? It can be so frustrating sometimes. I just want to know that there's somebody who cares about me and has my back. I just want to know that when there's a tough situation or decision, or when I feel suffering, or just when I feel like somebody to talk to who just gets me, that you're there. Will you always be there? And the answer is yes. And I feel a couple of you, there's a fear or sadness, and the answer was no. And if the answer is yes, I ask you to hold hands with your spirit guide and offer just two beings we can hold visually that are maybe coward, that don't really want us to look at them, but that don't really want to be alone, who don't feel they can communicate, that don't feel worthy. And these beings that are also us, connected with light, one in the great body of all, in the great body of God, to offer love and compassion. Not everybody can buy a hot dog in 10 seconds. That's okay. They'll be able to sometime. You're all worthy. You're all healthy. You're all worth it. Every single one of you has this as a birthright, just as much as it is your birthright to breathe air. Every single one of you is able at any time to receive guidance, support, and love. No matter physically if you're in jail or being tortured or in physical pain, if you're feeling good, if you're having success or experiencing failure, no matter if you were embarrassed by people or praised by people, no matter if you had a good day or a bad one, this is a being who is always there for you. And as you step back and go into this party, you realize it is a real reason to frickin' party. And aside from you going here at any time, you look over and you see the other faces, and you see creatures of animal nature, creatures of human nature, all looking at you and smiling and nodding, giving you a thumbs up. We're here for you. And they say your name. And you realize they got you, and they're cool. And there's nothing bad about needing help. In fact, it's good, and you know you got them too. You see a unicorn in the corner, nursing a broken leg, looking at the dance floor because she can't dance, and you go over to that unicorn and she looks at you with sad eyes, and you hold your hands out, and white light comes out of your hands, goes into the leg, instantly heals it. She smiles, she looks at you, she licks your face, and then she gallops over with sparkles to dance on the dance floor. So you're a being of service too. You're a being of value and worth too. And to that unicorn that does exist physically in some other planet, you are just a spirit guide. Because the cool thing about you being part of the infinite, the all, one being, all with oneness, is that all is all. And to echo the great Hermes Thoth, you are that. You are the awareness which has become a consciousness, which has decided to inhabit a body. You are the awareness that can leave that body in part or all of your focus. And whether 1% of focus is on your physical body or 99% at this moment, you as an awareness are immortal. And you know that in this moment. And you know that the voice speaking to you is also your spirit guide, because spirit is all. And that of you which can hear, and that of you which can feel and can know, are components of your awareness, just as I am a component of you. Just as these beings at this party are components of you. And as you open and allow yourself to realize that even parts of the darkness and demons are also part of you, parts of you that want to heal and be back with the oneness of love and light again. You smile and realize you're going to come back to this party sometime. And with that, which was just 10 minutes, you realize also, you might ask, do I have the strength to come here on my own? And everyone looks at you and they're like, yes. And they say your name. They want you back. They're like, please come back. We want you here as often as you want. This is your practice, to come to the party. You can do all sorts of deep work that you want, but start by coming to the party. Spirituality is fun. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be dense. It doesn't have to be on your knees, forehead on the ground, only when life sucks. It doesn't have to be hidden. Spirituality is a party, just like bodies are a party. And bodies need work to stay healthy, so does their spirit. And if we can choose among all experiences, why not choose, at least in part, fun? And if we understand that enlightenment is transcending the nature of needing or being forced to or being stuck in the feeling of emotions, we realize that at this party with these guides, we have tools to help our own enlightenment. And whether we're at a level 200 or 800,000 on the enlightenment continuum, who knows how far along it is? We know that at whatever number you feel that you're at, whatever percent enlightened that you feel you are, however you define enlightenment with neuroscience and mysticism and more, ask, is there somebody who can help me become 1% more enlightened and embodied and stayed, not just when I'm feeling good, but all the time? And notice that some hands go up. So with that, I offer for you to continue this visualization on your own. I am offering for you to keep your eyes closed, and only if you feel you absolutely have to, because the surrounding environment is loud, but keep your eyes closed now to turn on music. But otherwise, my offer to you is to do your 10 minutes of daily practice right now, to stay at the party on your own, to talk with the spirit guides on your own, and to invite a small demon, somebody that everybody can help and heal and contain, and work on cleansing and exorcising that demon from your existence in a healthy, kind, loving way. And before you leave, I offer for you to ask your spirit guide or guides about whatever magical powers you want to develop and see what you can learn.